odds, and they're always willing to play the odds. The reward on this, if they can find a way, is so lucrative to the owner that the temptation just is overwhelming. And I can't blame them. I mean, let's face it, the best business in the world to be in is a casino if you own one. Profitability, cash, and so that's the lure. That's the lure. So we would expect they'd take somebody will take another shot. But again, the industry is deflating, the economy is down on them, and I think this might be the time where we've now reached the point in Ohio where everybody says, you know, we're not even going to have a campaign next time. Because we all know we're just going to go vote no. I mean, they're reaching the point where they don't have any credibility left in the marketplace.
Lertzman and Pressman studied the Learn and Earn proposal, and they concluded that one of its fatal flaws was that they downplayed the issue of gambling, so they came out this year and said this is about gambling. They looked at their revenue projections at Learn and Earn that were too rosy. You look at this proposal, and that up to 30% was obviously a major Achilles heel. So was the Indian gambling / 0% tax rate. Do you think if somebody were to come up with, to take the lessons of both of these two proposals and come up with something that was absolutely bulletproof, that guaranteed a certain tax rate that had no loopholes whatsoever, that it would have a shot?
That's a very fair question, James. There's two problems. One is, as John was mentioning earlier, we all know from experience that you have to go to the Constitution to do this. When you go to the Constitution, you raise the threshold on the definition and value of every single word. That becomes problematic. So creating such a piece of law is very difficult to do. That's for starters, so it'd be really hard. Secondly, for someone to spend the money to go through the signature process, go through a campaign at these levels, they don't want to do it just for some generic, gee, this might work and then we'd have a casino. They want their piece protected, and that's where they fall into the trap, because when you attempt to create a business plan in a state constitution, people inherently reject that because they know that's not what the Constitution is designed to do. So they're in a situation where you start to think, gee, maybe the people who put this ban into the Constitution in 1803 and 1850 had these folks figured out a long time ago, and that's why they banned it the way that they did. Because if you take it one step farther, then the next logical question is, well, let's just create something and let the legislature figure it all out. Well, wouldn't that be wonderful? Talk about instantaneous corruption. If you then empowered the legislature to do whatever they wanted to do on the casino industry, oh my goodness, the 70 million would have left the campaign field and gone straight into campaign contributions. So it seems like the idea of let's not do this is anchored in some pretty solid logic. So I think they've got a real problem. You go back to '76, it took several times for the people of New Jersey to finally authorize a single casino in New Jersey. Several tries, I think it was 3 or 4 before they finally got there. And in most cases what we find is where the casino actually has to face a ballot initiative. If it's opposed, it loses. Usually where you get them is in situations like Pennsylvania, where they go in, they buy the legislature, and then they just do it. And the people have no say.
What about the possibility the legislature, though, says, look, we're tired of these people keep coming back. They're going to keep coming back. Why don't we come up with our own plan? We'll put it on the ballot. Will the government take will be a huge take. It won't be 30%. It will be 80% or something. And we'll give a little bit to whoever runs it. What about that possibility?
The problem with that, Bill, it's a very logical perspective. The problem with that is that we'll be there in the hearing process reminding every member of the legislature what in fact the vote count was in the district in regards to casino gambling. And that gums up the works pretty quickly, because when you're facing a measure that has been rejected statewide 4 times in almost every corner of the state, you sort of lack the traction of saying we're representing the people on that. So that's sort of the downside.
You see